Hi there. You are listening to the Light FM's Girl Talk podcast. My name is Carol.
This is Alicia.
And I'm Trisha.
And we're so glad you are here today. Now, today's discussion started with a Facebook post, right?
Yeah, I saw this and it got a lot of traction, not on our Facebook page, but somewhere else. It says, you were someone before you were their mom, and that person matters. And I think what really resonated was that person matters. And one of the first comments was from a woman that says, I can't even remember that person.
Oh, wow.
Right? And that just, we don't want, that's not what God wants for us as women and mothers. And that was really sad for me to read that she couldn't remember who she was. She has no idea. And I know that we have life stages and we kind of traverse through those different things, and we have changes and challenges, but we really are this. There's that little thin thing throughout all those seasons in our lives where we really are the same person. We're all children of God. And we can't forget that with all the busyness and the work and children's needs and always doing things for others.
Yeah.
Not just kids, but doing things for others all the time before ourselves.
Yeah. And you said you had a really strong emotional reaction to that.
Well, it's interesting because when I hear that, I think about the different roles that I play, and maybe you play some or all of these roles. Like, so I'm a mom, but I'm a wife, but I'm an employee, I'm a friend, I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, all of those sorts of things. And those roles are all important. And I think for myself, like I'll rotate through which role it is that gets the most urgency and energy.
What role is on fire today?
That's right. Often it is the mom role. But I'll tell you the reaction I had. I don't think it's expected. When I read that quote and I saw it, I thought to myself, I think I'm placing too much energy on being the person I was before their mom. I don't think, guys, that I'm put enough energy into being the mom that I want to be. And I hold a lot of guilt for that because I work here and I love what I do and I'm called here and I put a lot of energy, and we talked about this yesterday, I put a lot of energy in what I do here. I pray, God, use the show and use my time here. And then by the time I get home, I'm exhausted. Yeah. And I feel like I've used up some of the best of me. So that quote actually made me feel a little badly because I was like, I feel like I'm not giving enough of myself to my kids. Like that quote's not relevant to me.
The reminder is that you don't see your kids before you come to the office.
Right.
So you come to work and you do your full day of work, and the first time you get to see with your kids is you've had a full day of work and they've had a full day of school. Yeah. So I think that's a little unique. That might make you feel that way too.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Because we're kind of tired. It makes weekends good, but during the week it does get kind of tough.
I can relate to that, and I see mine morning and evening. And I'm like, how can I encourage you today?
Light up your room!
Yes,
that's it.
I'm like, who are you even? So I can relate to that because I feel like, I'm giving, but when it comes to my child, I'm just saying no and clean up your room. Those are the only two things we talk about anymore. But I think there is, it's hard for me because I share some of those roles. Of course, I'm not a wife, but I go back to before I was a mom, and my life has changed so much circumstantially that I'm not sure I remember who I was back then. But that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because Ella was not even 2 when I went through my divorce. And so I would never want anyone to go through a divorce, but it has changed me in such a way that I'm not sure I want to go back to who that person was.
Well, and I don't necessarily think we have to be the same person, but I saw that as, I know a lot of women have hopes and desires for their life, or maybe there's a particular job they want or something that they want to do, and they don't do it because they want to focus on others.
And that's true. That's true. When I was at my high school reunion, remember? That was too long ago. We were talking, and it was interesting because when people would ask a question like, how are you doing? It was
Mm-hmm.
interesting to see what people talked about when they wanted to get to know who they were. Maybe they talked about their job, or
Yeah.
maybe they talked only about their family. But it was
Right.
interesting to see what part of themselves they shared in that brief little moment. Like, who are you and what have you been doing since high school?
Yeah.
And so it was eye-opening that where people kind of are and what is most important to them.
Yeah, you're like, I didn't ask what are you doing. I
Yeah.
asked how are you
Yeah.
doing? Because I think so many times we defined how we're doing by how well we're doing what we're doing. Does that make sense?
Yes.
If I feel good about my mothering, then I will automatically, default
Emphasize
to that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like my parenting is like a science experiment gone wrong. Like
there is no manual. So.
like
You
like
need a
I
better lab partner. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I would make James Dobson cry. I'm pretty sure. Like he would write a book about my parenting called "How Not to Parent." I would just. It's so hard, and
is hard.
we tend to compare ourselves, and we look and we see
Mm-hmm.
Sally Sue sitting there on the church pew with all the perfect answers and all that, and you're just like, oh man. Well, my kid doesn't do that because she has my DNA. It's my fault.
Well, I saw a friend posted a really cute video of her daughter excelling at gymnastics, and I immediately went into oh my gosh, my daughter never did gymnastics, and so I don't know if she could learn to do that. And she kind of mentioned recently she'd want to take a tumbling class, and we didn't get it in the schedule, and I
Right.
don't know, and I'm a bad mom.
Yep. Oh yeah. Well,
That's always where it ends.
it ends up going there no matter where it starts. How about that one on Facebook? And people say, okay, ask your children this and post what they really say.
Oh yeah.
What do you say a lot?
Like
And-
unfriend. That's what I say.
Well, I asked my kids that. I said, what's something I say a lot? One of them said, get off the couch. I'm like, no.
That sounds like you. Yeah.
I know, because I saw one that the answer was "I love you."
Oh.
That's the
I'm
one
like, I want
saw
to be that
too.
mom that gets that answer.
I was going to coach him.
Okay, now we're going to do a survey.
Yeah.
And
Mommy will give you $1 if you say this.
Well, and you know what's so funny? When my daughter, I think she was second grade, maybe the picture is still on our refrigerator today because I'm like, I am not. They made pictures for Mother's Day and it said, "I love my mom because she is," and then they had to fill in the blank.
yeah, I love
Yes,
those.
yes.
And you know what my daughter said? Kind.
Oh, I love it.
okay.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yay.
I mean, that was second grade.
Yeah.
Where did the kindness go? Because I feel like this, I think parenting has different stages,
Yes.
I mean, there's times you have to apply that tough love,
Yeah.
and then there's times that you're just grumpy. And parenting falls somewhere in between. I hope that she would still say that today. I don't know.
Well, you can always ask her.
I don't want to.
I'd just save the 2 year second grade thing. And
Yeah, because she's in middle school now, and
Oh,
I'm the
yeah.
biggest idiot that ever lived, and I know nothing, and she knows everything. So we're in that phase of life.
Mhm. Yes.
Yeah.
We are too. I understand that. But, the thing is.
I'm the biggest idiot in the world to your kids, too.
No, I am. Sorry, I should have clarified. But I think we're trying. And I think that is one thing that I try to hold on to. I know that my heart is right. I
Yeah.
know I want to do well. I actually prayed this morning. We had our devotion time, and I was like, God, please let me be a better mother. And sometimes that's the only prayer I can utter. Let
Yeah.
me be a better mom.
Well-
Let me have more energy and wisdom.
we're not going to be perfect. I used to think that I could probably be the perfect parent. I just thought.
You probably could.
It's on you, Lisha.
Well, I mean, you think, okay, you grew up a certain way and you want to do things the same or differently from what you liked and didn't like as a child.
Yeah.
And you get to a certain age, you're like, I can do this and this is going to be great. And then everything changes.
Yeah.
And it's the stages you're talking about, Carol, and just the kids. And I have 2 kids that are very different. So the parenting styles are different, but you kind of have to be the same because you've got
Right.
Yep.
and there's all these different things that you have to evolve and grow. And so I end up reading a lot of different books and listening to podcasts and talking to you guys and other friends and things. But there is no rule book, and we're going to make mistakes. And I think for me, that's the hard part is I'm afraid that they're going to grow up and they're going to think, well, I didn't get to do this, or I wish we would have done this, or why didn't you do this? And I just have to realize that's going to happen. I mean, there's
Yeah.
no one in the world that's, I mean, I don't know. Maybe there is maybe someone listening had the absolutely perfect childhood. But I think everybody has hardships and different things that happen, and we just have to do the best that we can.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Oprah will come out of retirement to do a show on my kid when she grows up because she'll be in so much counseling. But yeah, I do. And here's the thing. You're doing a lot better than you think you are. In every situation, you're doing a lot better than you think you are. And somebody needs to say that to you today. And it may not come from your kid. It may not come from, from your spouse. It may not come from whoever, but we're saying it to you today. You're doing better than you think you are. And I think if we can champion one another and be each other's cheerleaders, and when we see something positive, I know a couple of weeks ago we had a challenge on my show to compliment someone's children who are behaving at a restaurant, And so just little things like that you can do to encourage. There was over Christmas, I went into Walmart and there was a kid screaming bloody murder. I mean, like it was crazy. And I was like, oh gosh, I remember those days. And so I actually went over, I didn't need anything, but I actually went over to a rack near them and I started making faces at the kid and playing with him. And the mom was just like, thank you so much, because somebody was helping, instead of everybody just looking and judging.
I saw something, I read an article, I can't remember what it was. It was someone in a similar situation, and they went over to the mom and was like, how can I help? Or how can I help you? Or you're doing a great job. The kid was like complete meltdown, and they encouraged the mother, you're doing a great job. Because a lot of times we're like, oh gosh, stop the screaming, or take the kid out of the store, please.
Right.
Or I'm on the airplane with the screaming kid. But when you're the parent with that screaming kid, you've got so much stress and anxiety because you're embarrassed and there's shame. And if someone just came and encouraged me like that in that moment, I would probably make a huge difference.
Game changer.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, because that will change your whole day. Just something little,
and because we've
like
all
that.
been there.
Yes.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Why does it always happen in Walmart?
It's a stressful place.
Is it like
there's a lot of stuff going on in Walmart?
There's
it's
like
the
a
blue light special.
It's the air freshener or something.
That's
I'm pretty.
Kmart.
Oh.
Okay. Because it seems like everybody's kids.
It's a very stressful place, and think about it.
Maybe.
When you
Stimulus.
when you go there, aren't you like in a hurry? It's a huge place. You get overwhelmed. I'm looking all around because I'm looking, and I need to stick to my list. But there's all these things that I need to pay attention to. But yet my kids are with me.
Yeah. The second I walk in, I'm thinking about how fast I can get out.
Yeah.
So there's that energy that we're letting off.
If you work at Walmart, please do not email us. We love you.
We do love you, and we see how hard you work, and we thank you for that.
It is very, very important that you know that, but somehow children do pitch the biggest fits in Walmart. I don't know why.
Any store, really.
Yeah.
My kids love to
pitch a big one.
in the grocery store because that's
Isn't
what they
it the
want.
best?
What they
So
want.
Another thing, I saw someone, one of my friends posted, she was sitting in her car waiting to go into the grocery store. She got to go to the grocery store by herself. And she's like, does anyone else take an extra few minutes before you go into the grocery store just to have some alone time? I'm like, I've done that.
Yeah.
I have done that. I will just sit there for a few minutes, and I might even read a book or something if I have it, a couple pages, because I'm like, there's no one else here. It is just me. It is quiet. I'm going to go in that store, and I'm going to knock it out, and I'm going to enjoy it.
I'm a single parent, so that never happens. Like she's always in it.
Hard.
Yeah. I mean, I love my kid.
Oh,
Surely I do. But, you get in there and we realize we left the list at home.
Oh, yeah.
And then she's like, hey, Mom, look at this. The other
It's
day
so
I was
hard
talking.
to focus and do what you need, and
It's like I when I have time to focus, I do terribly because I'm not used to focusing. I'm used to
Hurry up,
bouncing
let's
all
get
over
outta
the place.
here.
Yeah.
Does anybody else find it funny that we started this talking about the woman we were before
Oh,
we
right.
had
And now we're
kids? We
talking
ended up
about
talking
how
all
do we
about
shop
kids.
alone without our kids.
Yeah. That is pretty funny,
It's the
Tricia.
stage that we're in.
Oh,
I
it's
think.
irony, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, whatever stage of life you are in, you're doing a great job.
Yes,
We
yes.
love you, and
Yep.
we want to cheer you on for whatever phase of life you're in. Maybe I don't have kids, but maybe I don't even really know who I am in my singleness. I think the thing we want to point to here is that you will go through different identities in your life, things that you classify yourself as, whether it be a single person, a wife, a mother, a friend, a sister, a daughter, whatever it is. But the one identity that you need to build your life on is your identity in Christ and who He says that you are. That is the only thing that matters. And if you build your life on that, if you start with that foundation, every one of these roles is going to mean more to you. Because when you do have failures, when your kids don't live out their faith, or they make huge mistakes, or they end up making choices that you wouldn't have chosen for them, you can go back to who you are in Christ. And that never changes. And we want to encourage you in that. If you want to send us an email, we'd love to pray for you. You can email us anytime at girltalk@thelightfm.org. We'll see you back here next time on the Girl Talk Podcast.